It's Stallone. You get what you get what you come for with Stallone.
He's more charming in other stuff. Like I think he's more charming in Demolition Man or any of the other action beat, the Specialist or whatever. It's just I think it's the set pieces that you watch Cliffhanger for. Him jumping off the mountain.
You get it's a mountain climbing film called Cliffhanger with Stallone in it. You get what you want from Stallone. It's like Daylight. I love Daylight.
Daylight's another one. That's good.
Yeah, this is a Daylight level of Stallone where he's here to get these people out or get out himself or whatever, and he's just going to be this kind of brooding masculine presence throughout, and it works. So, but I want to shout out the cinematography. This film looks fantastic.
Yes,
it looks like all the way through. There's I always enjoy a good silhouette shot, and there's one with the bad guys all got torches, but they're still backlit, and it's really
like the Steven Spielberg shot. Yeah, when they're looking for him in the
really nice shot. So shout out to cinematographer Alex Thompson, who also worked on Demolition Man. He was DOP on Demolition Man. Alien 3 he was on. Labyrinth he did. Legend, Raw Deal.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's good.
he's done some good stuff. He's in the camera department for Superman, the original. So he's got a good CV to him. So just a shout out to Alex Thompson. And I have a list, as I do with all of these, of how is this film like Deep Blue Sea.
Okay.
I like to make these comparisons. So there's a helicopter which explodes when the winch catches on something.
It's true.
Happens in Deep Blue Sea. There's an aerial ride to a distant location. Happens in Deep Blue Sea. There's dropped Teddy in the opening sequence, which we mentioned.
I forgot about that. That's true.
This is tenuous. After Stallone drops Sarah, we cut to Michael Rook, whose eyes, there's like a look of death on his face. His eyes look like a shark's eyes in that scene.
That's okay. I'll allow it.
I make this list as I'm watching the film. So
you just compare Michael Rook to a shark. That's fine.
During the plane hijack, there's a procedure where they're listing a whole lot of numbers, which reminded me of when they're doing the shark brain protein test, and there's a lot of numbers being repeated during that sequence. When the plane explodes, you have Matheson caught in the explosion, very much like Ida Totoro when she's caught in the Deep Blue Sea helicopter explosion. There's like this backlit, somebody sees an explosion coming towards them. He has the exact same thing. It's identical. To that. The post-landing argument between all of the henchmen reminded me of the pre-Sam Jackson death argument in Deep Blue Sea. They're all like arguing with each other really heatedly, just in the same manner. It reminded me quite a lot of it. Tenuous.
When Sam cuts him off and goes, the movie that I wanted.
What is first? Should say ice.
Ice, yeah.
Ice, pretty quick in this film.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Maybe he was on the cliff watching the hangar before Deep Blue Sea.
Stop jumping ahead in my list.
Sorry.
Because Russell's story, he gets stranded on a mountain, people end up killing each other, there's an avalanche. His backstory is Cliffhanger.
Maybe Leon survived and he's Leon.
Maybe.
Let's connect.
Yep. He found one of the suitcases full of money, started his company.
Yeah, he didn't die with his stalactite impalement and missed all vital organs.
Yep.
He climbed his way down.
He was wearing a stalactite-proof vest.
Whatever. Stalactite-proof vest. He got frostbite though, because that's how he got the frostbite in his ears, because it's very cold.
There we go.
He started his own company. Oh, see, that's your cliffhanger. The cliffhangers you see.
Can his eyes open? Credits. He's still stuck up on that stalactite.
That will return in Deep Blue Sea.
Just the Wampa comes up near him. Anyway, different film. The trouble arises in this film when a storm comes in, same with Deep Blue Sea. Stallone is muscular and almost entirely sleeveless, very much like Tom Jane in Deep Blue Sea. There's a random British guy, in the same way that Susan is just British in Deep Blue Sea. She just is. No one else is. And this one's got Craig Fairbrass. And Mindhunter's had a random British guy as well. So Rennie Harlan just likes chugging those in. Crystal talks about baking a cake, just like Ella Cody does in Deep Blue Sea.
You should see me bake a cake. She reminds me of the blonde girl from Die Hard 3, by the way. That was with Simon Gruber.
Oh yes, I see that.
That's what
Yeah.
she kind of reminds me of, even though that's my John McTiernan, not Rennie Harlan. But yeah,
Oh, it's still Die Hard, isn't it?
I heard that.
And the Gabe Sarah, when Gabe's dropping Sarah, that's very similar to Tom Jane trying to save Janice in the elevator
Right.
shaft. That whole sequence just kind of looks similar of a guy reaching down, a woman reaching up, it not going well. And so you might not know, GJ, when we look at all these films, I work out how deep and blue they are. It's just something we do on this podcast.
Sure.
So, Deep Blue Sea, if you're wondering, has an average depth of about minus 14.5 meters, or 47.5 feet, and it's about 31% blue. Do you reckon Cliffhanger is deeper and bluer than Deep Blue Sea?
I don't know if there's a right answer to this question. I'm going to say it's not as blue because it's mostly white. That's what I'm going to go with.
And what about depth? Do you think it's deep?
It's on a mountain,
Yeah.
so I'm going to say not as deep.
Yeah, I didn't spend a long time working out this because I knew what the answers was going to be, but
I'm going to go with logic. Logic dictates that.
Bear in mind that I looked up what kind of height sea level wise is Colorado, and it's like a mile up in the air. So, but I didn't base it on what it is from sea level. I based it on what it is from the ground. So I looked up like average mountain range heights of.
Hey, they both have thin air.
Absolutely. Like average mountain range heights of Colorado, where this was filmed. Some scenes take place in plains. This has got an average depth of 1.7 kilometers up in the air, which is about.
Imagine if Frank was painting a banana eating a shark. That would have just brought it all home.
Yeah. What a shark see. It would be like a fish eating a shark. Anyway, so that works out being 5,784 feet up in the air. So that's our least deep film so far. It's also our least blue film. It's only 2.3% blue. This film is not blue at all.
I imagine the night scenes are probably the only place you're going to get blue.
Barely even that, because it's just dark grey on those. There's like the jacket Sarah's wearing is kind of a purpley blue. There's a blue stripe on the side of the plane. There's a fair few shots of sky, but not for very long. Mm-hmm. It's mostly white, mostly grey, mostly disappointingly not blue. It's what filmmakers should be doing. It's making the deepest, bluest film, and they failed.
Cliffhanger too white.
Yeah. I mean, you hate to see it. But
Cliffhanger too white.
You hate to see it, but that's what we got. So yeah, that's Cliffhanger. I'd recommend it. I feel like DJ would too. I know that Mark would. This is a great film. I've been looking forward to covering it. And I'm glad that we have. So thank you, DJ, for picking it. Although I'm sure somebody would have done.
Somebody would have got it. I had to jump on that. I had to jump on it quick.
You did. So where can the listeners find you? What have you got online?
Simplistic.reviews is where you can find our show. You can find me on Twitter under trying to be DJV, or follow the show's Twitter handle, which Matthew mostly runs, my co-host at Simple Tweeters. And our October episode's up right now. I'm recording a commentary for Child's Play 3 tonight, actually. And then we're going to probably do another Halloween public domain horror movie marathon. We're probably going to do that near Halloween time.
Very nice. Well, listeners can follow the podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Deep Blue Sea Pod, or email us deepblueseapod@gmail.com if you have any ideas for other Deep Blue Sea adjacent films we should be covering next, or that we have a little list. But if it's been mentioned on the podcast, it's probably on the list. But if it hasn't and you're dying for us to cover it, then let us know. And you can find more of my writing over at lifeversusfilm.com, Life vs Film. I appear on the Lambcast on a monthly occasion, hosting a movie trivia game called Lampardy, so check that out. And if you have a movie or TV blog and or podcast and want to be part of a large community of other like-minded folks, then the LAM, the Large Association of Movie Blogs, largeassmovieblogs.com. Come check us out and join us. We'd love to have you. And you can find more of Mark's stuff over at Movies, Films and Flicks, moviesfilmsandflicks.com, and his podcast is Movies, Films and Flicks. Check out his episodes on Cliffhanger. They're both great. And next week we're covering Aquaman.
Oh, I'm so glad I'm off. I'm so glad I'm off.
Which a film I have seen. I saw it in the cinema. Fell asleep. Uh,
What a film! What a film!
so that's the only time I saw it. I didn't make it all the way through. That should not be seen as a knock against the film. I fall asleep in cinemas. I'm not gonna say often, but it's not. It's been known to happen before. To some
It's
good
Flash
films.
Gordon-esque in terms of it being horrible, but it seems like they leaned into it. If that makes you feel any better.
Well, I'm looking forward to watching it. My wife was gleeful when I said, "Oh, we're watching that film where Jason Momoa was naked for most of the." Oh, we're watching. Okay, fine. So that's fine. So come back then. But as for today's show, I want to thank DJ Valentine for joining us.
If you're looking for me, I'll be 4,000 feet down wearing a helicopter.
Good to know. And I've been Jake Lewitt, and we'll Deep Blue see you next week. Well, you just bought it. It's like what's his? It's like the guy at the start of Deep Blue Sea who doesn't say anything. Why can't I think of his name? This is terrible. It's like I've done I don't know if you know, DJ, I've done many episodes of a podcast.
Yeah, you should know it. I have no reason not to. I have no reason to know because I hate it. But you love it, so you should know everything about it.
I'm having to look this up. I can't. Why isn't this like the first thing that comes up in Google with everything?
He's gonna look it up, and we're gonna do a little edit point here. Edit point. It's gonna pull up the name.
Oh, it's been a long day.
It's gonna seem like with this edit point, Jay's gonna seem like he just knew it right off the top of his head.
It's just the internet is not being my friend. Come on. He's not credited, so he's not on Wikipedia. So I've got to go on IMDb. Ronnie Cox. It's like Ronnie Cox in Deep Blue Sea.
Ronnie, wow, you just pulled that name out of the top of
yeah,
your head.
it's miraculous.
Do that so quickly.
I didn't edit anything out of that.